Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Lips Prabhu Dandasranam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudirayet Nashta Prayeshva Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavatyuttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtuki. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Namo Vishnu Padaya Vedanta Swamini Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesh Punyavadi Prathadesh. So Hare Krishna everyone, Gaurarti Mataji, Hamsini Mataji, Ian Prabhu, Madhakumar Prabhu, Meena Mataji, Meenakshi Mataji, Philip Prabhu, Ram Prabhu, Ravikiran Mataji, Shailesh Prabhu, Swami Prabhu, our Madhavi Mataji, and anyone else, Shashi Mataji as well. Anyone else? Sorry if I missed anyone else. Okay.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. So thank you all for tuning in today. So today we are beginning the 8th chapter from Canto 1, which is entitled as Prayers of Queen Kunti and Maharaj Parikshit Saved, a famous chapter for all of our ISKCON devotees. Queen Kunti is very dear to us, and Maharaj Parikshit as well. So in the last chapter, 7th chapter, we knew that the title of the 7th chapter was that the son of Drona, Ashwatthama, punished. So Ashwatthama killed the 5 sons of Draupadi when they were sleeping, which is an heinous act. Even his master Duryodhan did not like it. So then he was punished by Arjun on the equivocal instruction of Krishna. So rather than beheading Ashwatthama, he just cut his hair and then took his jewel off from his head. And then at the end of that chapter, so everyone was performed, all Pandavas performed the rituals for the dead bodies of their relatives, because this is the end of Mahabharata war. So, and this chapter will continue from there. So Madhakumar Prabhu, if you can kindly ask someone to read from 1 to 7, I will share the screen here.
Okay, Prabhuji. Shashi Singhal Mataji, are you able to read text translation?
Yeah, I will do that, Prabhuji.
Thank you so much, Mataji.
Thank you.
Seems I'm the class monitor today. Hare Krishna. It's the text is on the screen, Mataji. Shall we get someone else while Shashi Singhal Mataji is
sorry,
getting
I am
ready?
reading. Oh, I thought I have muted myself, Prabhuji. Sorry. I'm reading and I'm thinking sorry about that. Hare Krishna.
No
Prabhuji,
problem.
forgive me. Prayers by Queen Kunti and Parikshit saved. Sutta Goswami said, thereafter the Pandavas, desiring to deliver water to the dead relatives who had desired it, went to the Ganges with Draupadi. The ladies walked in front. Having lamented over them and sufficiently offered Ganges water, they bathed in the Ganges, whose water is sanctified due to being mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of the Lord. There sat the king of Kurus, Maharaja Yudhishthir, along with his younger brothers, and Dhritarashtra, Gandhari, Kunti, and Draupadi, all overwhelmed with grief, and Lord Krishna was also there. Citing the stringent laws of the Almighty and their reactions upon living beings, Lord Shri Krishna and the Munis began to pacify those who were shocked and affected. The clever Duryodhan and his party cunningly usurped the kingdom of Yudhishthir, who had no enemy. By the grace of the Lord, the recovery was executed, and the unscrupulous kings who joined with Duryodhan were killed by him. Others also died, their duration of life having decreased for their rough, I can't see Prabhuji, rough handling of the hair of Queen Draupadi. Lord Shri Krishna caused 3 well-performed Ashwamedh Yajnas, horse sacrifices, to be conducted by Maharaj Yudhishthir, and thus caused the virtuous fame to be glorified in all directions like that of Indra, who had performed 100 such sacrifices. Lord Shri Krishna then prepared for his departure. He invited sons of Pandu after having been worshipped by the Brahmanas, headed by Srila Vyasadeva. The Lord also reciprocated greetings.
Thank you,
As
Mataji.
Okay.
Thank you. So, yeah, all the Pandavas and other members who were spared on the battlefield of Kurukshetra then went to the Ganga to perform the rites, final rites, mainly to offer the water to the dead relatives. This is the usual custom even in India. So they offer water to the departed souls. So they lamented and sufficiently, and then they bathed in Mother Ganga. Here, interesting word is mentioned that the water of Ganga is pure because it is mixed with the lotus dust of Lord Shri Krishna. So we all know the story of Vamandev, that when Vamandev, the dwarf incarnation of the Lord, when he begged 3 pieces of land from Bali Maharaj. So when he tried to occupy the upper planetary system, so his toenail pierced the universe, covering of the universe. Above the universe, we know that there is a Viraja river. Viraja river is also known as Karna ocean. That is the spiritual water. That's where Mahavishnu lies. So when the covering of the universe was pierced, so the water, spiritual water, leaked through. And that time, the water was also touched the lotus feet of Lord Vamandev. So that's why it purifies everyone who came in, who come in contact with them. So then when they were lamenting, Krishna was there with the Pandavas. So Krishna basically, he pacified them, citing the stringent laws of the Almighty. Prabhupada mentions a very interesting point here, that nobody can overcome the stringent laws of the material nature. So that's why in the human form of life, it is better we prepare ourselves and then, escape the cycle of birth and death, and then go back to Godhead. As long as we are in this material world, the laws of the material nature are inevitably going to act upon us. The best solution Prabhupada offers in the purport is that better to take to Krishna consciousness while we are in this body. So here in the verse text 5, it is mentioned that the kingdom was taken over by Duryodhana cunningly with his party, and the main purpose of Lord was that to simply remove the burden of the earth by killing the unscrupulous kings, because the Duryodhana and his party, so they mishandled Draupadi. Here, the sentence says that their duration of life having decreased for their rough handling of the hair of Queen Draupadi. So I'll just share a couple of interesting points Prabhupada mentions in text 5's purport. You can also make a note of it if you want to. So that the protection in the olden age, the protection should be offered. The following people should be protected. Prabhupada says that who are they? Brahmanas should be protected. Brahmanas, cows, women, children, and the old men, they need to be given proper protection. When Brahmanas are protected, then there is a proper order in the society. There is a varnashrama system. They give us the knowledge, and thereby there is a spiritual growth in the society. Brahmanas means devotees. And when the cows are protected, we get a wonderful food, milk, which is very useful for the brain tissues to understand the spiritual life. When women are protected, the chastity of the society was maintained and good progeny will come out. The fourth one, Prabhupada mentions that children should be protected. When children are protected, they will be trained properly. In the current society, we can see where the problem is. Even Arjuna also says that when women are polluted, then unwanted progeny comes. In the first chapter of Gita, it is mentioned clearly. So the children should be given proper protection. They should be trained spiritually right from the beginning of their childhood, so that they can, that will become their last life on this planet Earth. And at the end, so old men also should be protected properly so that they can prepare themselves for a better life after death. So rather than Draupadi being protected by everyone, the so-called kings Duryodhana and party, so she was mishandled by them. So because they mishandled Draupadi, their duration of life was decreased. So very interesting points here, how various people need to be protected. So let's go back. Just 1 second, yeah. So Lord Krishna also asked Yudhishthira to perform the yajnas or sacrifices, Ashwamedha sacrifices or sacrifices. By doing so, so his virtuous fame was glorified in all directions. Lord Krishna likes his devotees to be glorified. He likes his devotees to be glorified. And then after doing this, after pacifying them, after making Yudhishthira to perform these sacrifices, and then Lord Krishna prepared to depart to Dwaraka. And while he was about to depart to Dwaraka, that time there were a number of saintly people gathered, including Vasdev. They offered prayers and they worshipped Krishna. And the interesting point is that the Lord also reciprocated greetings. So he's following a social custom. So he also offered prayers and respected all the sages presented there. So, and then now we will read from verse 8 to 17. Madhav Kumar Prabhu, you can.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Meena Mataji, are you able to read 8 to 17
Yes.
verse
Yes.
translation, please?
Hare
Thank
Krishna.
you, Mataji.
Yes.
Meena,
Sure.
as in Meena Jethani Mataji, sorry.
Sorry.
I must clarify.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So verse 8
We'll come back to
translation.
Meenakshi Madhavi Mataji. We'll come back to you.
Haribol.
Thank you.
So verse text 8 translation. As soon as he seated himself on the chariot to start for Dwarka, he saw Uttara hurrying toward him in fear. Uttara said, O Lord of Lords, Lord of the universe, you are the greatest of mystics. Please protect me, for there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. O my Lord, you are all powerful. A fiery iron arrow is coming towards me fast. My Lord, let it burn me personally if you so desire, but please do not let it burn and abort my embryo. Please do me this favor, my Lord. Suta Goswami said, having patiently heard her words, Lord Sri Krishna, who was always very affectionate to his devotees, could at once understand that Ashwathama, the son of Dronacharya, had thrown the Brahmastra to finish the last life in the Pandav family. O foremost amongst the great thinkers, Munis, Shaunaka, seeing the glaring Brahmastra proceeding towards them, the Pandavas took up their 5 respective weapons. The Almighty Personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna, having observed that a great danger was befalling his unalloyed devotees, who were fully surrendered souls, at once took up his Sudarshan disc to protect them. The Lord of Supreme Mysticism, Sri Krishna, resides within everyone's heart as the Paramatma. As such, just to protect the progeny of the Kuru dynasty, he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. O Shaunaka, although the supreme Brahmastra weapon released by Ashwathama was irresistible and without check or counteraction, it was neutralized and foiled when confronted by the strength of Vishnu, not Krishna. O Brahmanas, do not think this to be especially wonderful in the activities of the mysterious and infallible personality of Godhead. By his own transcendental energy, he maintains and annihilates all material things, although he himself is unborn. Thus, saved from the radiation of the Brahmastra, Kunti, the chaste devotee of the Lord, and her 5 sons and Draupadi addressed Lord Krishna as he started for home.
Thank you, Mataji.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna.
So as soon as he started to depart, he prepared to depart to Dwaraka. So Uttara hurried towards him. Uttara is the wife of Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu is the son of Arjuna and Subhadra. We know Arjun, everyone knows Arjun. Arjuna had a wife, several wives. One of the wives' names was Subhadra. Subhadra was a dear sister of Krishna. So Abhimanyu's Arjuna's and Subhadra's son was Abhimanyu. Abhimanyu was married to Uttara. Uttara, then we know in the battle of Kurukshetra, Abhimanyu was killed in the absence of Arjun. He was only 16-year-old. When Abhimanyu was killed, Mother Uttara was pregnant. She was carrying the greatest devotee of the Lord, Parikshit. So hence why she did not undergo sati. Sati means in the olden days, voluntarily women also enter into the funeral fire. That is voluntary. And they wanted to be with their husband wherever the husband is. But because she wanted to offer protection to the great devotee, to her own child within the womb, she did not undergo sati, did not enter the funeral fire. So Uttara, so she hurried, she rushed towards Krishna. And so, and what did she say? Number 9 is the famous prayer. We all can recite this. I will share the screen. And some of these verses we can recite on a daily basis. So when we recite a verse offered by a devotee, we are connected to that devotee as well. So we were, we learned the verse from 7th chapter. Madhav Kumar Prabhu, he learned the verse, and this is another beautiful verse for learning and reciting every day. I suggest that we do. So Uttaro Vacha.
Uttaro Vacha.
Yeah, you can repeat after me. Pahi Pahi Mahayogin.
Pahi Pahi Mahayogin.
Deva Deva Jagatpate.
Deva Deva Jagatpate.
Nanyam Twadabhayam Pashe.
Nanyam Tvad Pashe.
Yatra Mrutyu Parasparam.
Yatra Mrityu Parasparam.
So she rushed to Krishna and she said, Pahi Pahi means protector, protector. Oh, great mystic. Deva Deva, you are the Lord of all lords. And Jagatpate, Lord of the universe. Nanyam Tvad Abhayam Pashe. Yatra Mrityu Parasparam. So I can't see anyone else who can save me from the, who can give me fearlessness and also protect me from the death. So that's what it says. Please protect me, please protect me. For there is no one else who can save me from the clutches of death in this world of duality. So what a wonderful prayer we can always offer. So can we read the last sentence here? I will read it out. A beautiful point here. So you see that whenever there is a danger, the devotees rush towards Krishna. That is the main difference for a theist and atheist. When there is a problem, the atheist questions that there is no God. If there was God, then why would I be put into trouble? So they go away from the Lord, materialistic people. But a devotee, they come closer to Krishna. Even in the Bhagavad Gita, famous verse is there, Artho Jignasurartharthi Jnani Cha Baradarshapa, 8:16, BG 8:16. So the Lord is the only shelter of fearlessness for the surrendered soul. One cannot save himself from the cruel ants of death in the material world without having surrendered himself at the lotus feet of the Lord. So some of the beautiful points that we can take home from that. So then what did the Lord do? He heard, having patiently heard, he is very affectionate to his devotees. He always listened to his devotees. So he is addressed as Bhakta Vatsala. Bhakta Vatsala means very compassionate, very dear to his own devotees. And then he could understand. So the Uttara said, there is a weapon coming to destroy me. I'm happy to be destroyed, but please protect my baby, the fetus in the womb. So, and what did the Lord do? So knowing there is a great danger, and he is happy to always ready to protect his own devotees. And this Brahmastra, Prabhupada mentions in the text well, that so when they created a nuclear weapon. We know that in Japan and Hiroshima, Nagasaki, so we know that the nuclear weapon was applied, and it kills indiscriminately. But here, the Brahmastra, the nuclear weapon, is it is so specific that it can kill the baby fetus in the womb, not harming the mother. Such was the accuracy of these weapons. And so Lord was then decided to protect his own devotees, and then he at once took up his Sudarshan to protect them. So Prabhupada made a couple of interesting points in text 13. So let's read those wonderful points. I will share the screen. So when the Lord saw, can somebody read? Maybe someone else, maybe Neelam Mataji or someone.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yes, Haribol Mataji.
Okay, just a second. When the Lord saw that there was no time for the Pandavas to counteract the Brahmastra of Ashwatthama, he took up his weapon even at the risk of breaking his own vow. Although the battle of Kurukshetra was almost finished, still according to his vow, he should not have taken up his own weapon. But the emergency was more important than the vow. He is better known as the Bhakta Vatsala, or the lover of his devotee, and thus he preferred to continue as Bhakt Vatsal than to be a worldly moralist who never breaks his solemn vow.
Thank you, Mataji.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
So this is the second time he break his vow, isn't it? Broke his vow. We know that when Bhishma was fighting, and Arjuna completely got lost. He didn't know what to do. And Krishna, so he jumped out of the chariot, and he took the wheel of a chariot, broken wheel of a chariot, and rushed towards Bhishma Dev to protect his own devotee Arjuna. So very interesting point here. He breaks his own vow to protect his own devotees. Very interesting point. But he never breaks the vow of his devotee. See the point. Please make a note of it. He's ready to break his own vow to protect a devotee. But he is happy to, he will never break the vow of a devotee. That's why in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says that, what is the famous verse?
Onteya pratijane name bhakta pranashati.
So what does it mean?
Please declare boldly, my devotee will never perish.
Yeah, so he's, here again, once again, he's not supposed to take a weapon, but he did so to protect the devotees. His Bhakta Vatsal. And so Lord is actually, is there within and without. So Lord is reciting in the heart of every living entity as a Paramatma. As such, so he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. So there is a little bit of background noise. Could I ask your people? Yes, thank you. So, as a Paramatma, so he covered the embryo of Uttara by his personal energy. And it was difficult to neutralize this weapon. But Lord can do anything. So let me show a picture of this. This is very interesting. Think how Maharaj Parikshit Krishna. So we know that. So this is the picture. Hope you can see here. So it's difficult for me to do that now here. If I want to do this one here. Yeah. So Maharaj Parikshit was personally protected by Krishna. Is known as Vishnu Ratha, means the one who is protected by Krishna. So he had a darshan of Lord Krishna within the womb when he was in the womb of his mother. So when he came out, he was so much attracted to this wonderful personality. He was looking for that personality which he had seen in the womb. So he was just seeing, where is that person? Where is that person? Where is that person? So that's why his name is Parikshit. His name became Parikshit, means one who is examining to find out that personality that he had darshan in the womb of his mother. So here again, a very interesting point is that the character of Bhakta Vatsal demonstrate the character of a mercy part of the Lord, that how great the Lord is. He is ready to break his own vow and offer protection to the devotee. So then seeing this, another instant, and Krishna saved Pandavas from a number of calamities. And this is another calamity. Ashwatthama wanted to completely finish off the Pandava dynasty by killing Abhimanyu. Sorry, by killing Parikshit Maharaj. That was his aim. But Lord protected him. So he saved them from number of calamities. So Mother Kunti, Queen Kunti, so she started to offer prayers. So verse 18 onwards, they are known as the prayers of Queen Kunti. But before we begin, there is a bit of introduction that we will do. So these prayers by Queen Kunti are very special. Let me show the picture, because the picture talks quite a lot. The screen. Right. So who is Kunti Maharani? So she was the sister of Vasudev. Vasudev is the father. Vasudev is the father of Krishna, and Queen Kunti is the sister of Vasudev. So that way she becomes aunt of Krishna. She's on the motherly level. Vatsalya rasa, parental affection. So Queen Kunti and Vasudev, their father was Shurasena. So Shurasena had a friend called Kunti Bhoj. Kunti Bhoj, he didn't have any children. So when Kunti was born, she was named as Pruta. She was not known as Kunti. She was known as Pruta. That's why in Bhagavad Gita, we see that Krishna addresses Arjuna many times Partha. Partha means son of Pruta. So she was known as Pruta. as the sister of Vasudev, as the daughter of Shurasena. But, Kunti Bhoj, Shurasena's friend, didn't have any children. That's why he gave Kunti Maharani to Kunti Bhoj adopted this Pruta. So that's why she was adopted by Kunti Bhoj. She was given the name Kunti. And this Kunti Bhoj, he was a great personality, and many wonderful devotees were visiting his palace. So one day Durvasa Muni visited Kunti Bhoj place. And Durvasa, we all know that he is very famous to become angry and quickly. And if even for a little thing also he becomes angry quickly becomes angry. So then Kunti Bhoj said, my dear Kunti, please look after this sage nicely. She was only very young girl that time. So she had wonderful opportunity of serving devotees right from the tender age. So she served Durvasa Muni very nicely. To please Durvasa is not very easy. So and Durvasa was really pleased with him and said that I wanted to offer you something in return for your service. I will instruct you couple of mantras. By reciting them, you can invoke the presence of any demigod of your choice. As soon as you offer these prayers, these mantras, you recite these mantras and think of a demigod of your choice, they can come and give audience to you. So that's how she received a special mantras by Durvasa Muni. And of course, and she tested some, and Durvasa Muni left that palace, and out of her childhood curiosity, she just wanted to test the potency of these mantras. And she saw sun god, and she just, tested this mantras for sun god, invoked the presence of a sun god, and sun god came. And that sun god wanted to give her a child, son, but Kunti said that I'm very little girl. How is it possible? That sun god said that I would you would maintain your virginity, and nobody will know this. Anyway, so she was blessed with the son, and she was in the palace. Because she was also a child, just imagine. And after the child was born, she had to abandon that child. She had to put that child in a basket with so much wealth in it. Later, the child was then raised by a woman called Radha. So, the Radha's husband was Athiratha, I think. Anyway, so he was known as Radheya. So from that time onwards, Kunti was undergoing one problem after another problem in her life. So sometimes people question why she should abandon that child, but she was living in a palace. She can't explain the reason. She prayed for her well-being, the child's well-being, and she left enough wealth in that basket. Mother Queen Kunti is on the level of, practically on the level of Devaki and Yashodamai. So one of the 9 processes of the devotion is to offer prayers. Anybody knows the 9 processes? Who would like to recite the verse? Anybody would like to recite? Yes, Marakumar Prabhu.
Shravanam Kirtanam Vishnu Smaranam Archanam Vandanam Atmanivedanam Padasevanam.
Yes, so, and offering prayers means which is known as offering prayers?
Vandanam.
Vandanam. Excellent. So offering prayers is one of the 9 types of devotional service. So that's why every devotee, Prabhupada composed the poems while he was on the Jaladuta. And Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, Bhakti Vinod Thakur, all the devotees, they compose prayers and offer those prayers to the Lord. And what we can do is, like, if we want to understand the Lord properly, we should read and study the prayers offered by the devotees, because these devotees are so dear to the Lord, and they are great devotees. We can actually really learn something from them. So, and there is another connection. Prabhupada loved prayers of Queen Kunti. So he recorded the prayers of Queen Kunti. He did not record the prayers of any other things from Bhagavatam. There is a audio record of prayers by Queen Kunti. And also, when Prabhupada was in America, when he was sick, he asked the devotees to recite prayers of Queen Kunti. And when he was again sick in India, later on, again he asked to recite the prayers of Queen Kunti. So when we read these prayers, so now we are connected to Prabhupada, we are connected to Kunti Maharani, and we are connected to Pandavas, and we are connected to Lord Krishna. What a wonderful way. What a wonderful way of connecting. So I personally like to connect to Krishna through a devotee. So by reading these prayers, we are very much remembering Prabhupada, very much remembering. And he had written a book, isn't it? Prayers of Queen Kunti, or Madhav Kumar Prabhu knows it very well. So
yes, it's a blue cover, white and blue cover, I remember.
Yes. Still in stock, only few copies.
Still in stock. Whenever there is a chance, Madhav Kumar Prabhu, please plan.
Service, ingrained service.
So what we'll do is, I will recite the Sanskrit, and a devotee, one devotee can take turns and read the translations, and I will pick up some points from purport as well. What I'm planning to do is, we will not complete definitely the entire chapter, and we will complete a few verses, and we will try and leave some time, at least 5 to 10 minutes, for any questions or any comments. I was not doing that, even if we go a little over 8 o'clock, but I will try and leave some time out. And also, there is one more proposal, that if anybody wants to learn these prayers, I'm happy to assist. I can do a separate class, not this class, but separate class, that you can learn these prayers. If anybody is willing, they can let me know separately. So let's start these prayers. Okay. So just one second. Default view. So text 18 onwards. Huh?
Yeah.
Kuntyuvacha namasye purusham tvadyam ishvaram prakrute param alaksham sarvabhutanam antar bahiravastitam. Translation.
You want to volunteer for that?
Yes, please.
So for the translations, I can ask Mom Gaurarati Mataji to please assist. That's okay. Haribol.
Haribol. Srimati Kunti said, O Krishna, I offer my obeisances unto you, because you are the original personality and are unaffected by the qualities of the material world. You are existing both within and without everything, yet you are invisible to all.
Thank you, Mataji. And so here, interesting point that she addresses Krishna as a Purusha, original personality of Godhead, and actually the master of the material nature. And is within and without, antar bahir avastitam, inside and outside. But nalakshase, antar bahir, alaksham sarva bhutanam, although he is inside and outside, within and without, but he is not visible. He is invisible. So here, Kunti Maharani, especially, she's actually says this. Queen Kunti experienced personally that Lord Krishna was present before her, yet he entered within the womb of Uttara to save her embryo from the attack of Ashwatthama Brahmastra. Kunti herself was puzzled. Krishna was outside, and the embryo in the womb of Uttara was protected. Lord as Paramatma was within, protected. So that's why within and without. So in fact, he is both, but he reserves the right not to being exposed to persons who are not surrendered souls. Yes, he will not be exposed to the surrendered souls. So he's not visible to everyone. And the next words further explains how he is not invisible. Maya javanika channam agnadokshajam avyayam nalakshase mudha drisha nato natyo daro yatha. Yes, ma'am, please.
Being beyond the range of limited sense perception, you are the eternally irreproachable factor covered by the curtain of deluding energy. You are invisible to the foolish observer, exactly as an actor dressed as a player is not recognized.
Thank you very much, Mataji. Sometimes people ask, show me God. But this is the answer here. So have you got the eyes to, the question that we need to ask people is, have you got the eyes to see the Lord? Here, Kunti Maharani says, Maya Javanika Channam. Javanika means curtain, Maya. So he is covered with the curtain of Maya. If when there is a curtain, I can't see through the window. So he is covered by a curtain of Maya, deluding potency. So when Krishna opens that curtain of Maya, then we can see him. So Ajnadokshajam avyayam, beyond the range of material conception. So we can't perceive Krishna with our material senses. So nalakshase mudha drusha, foolish observer cannot see you because of this curtain of deluding potency. And she gives an example, nato natyo daro yatha, just as an actor dressed as a player cannot be recognized. So the points here is that not everybody can see the Lord, because Lord is covered with the deluding potency. That deluding potency can only be removed by the mercy of the Lord, not by other people. So that's why Prabhupada mentions in the previous purport that Lord is visible to the surrendered souls. Surrendered soul sees the Lord in everything, actually. Recently, I was reading the prayers by Nalakuver and Manigriv. And they said that let our head bow down to everything in this material world, because you are there in everything. That was their prayer. Let our head bow down to everything, inanimate, animate, and inanimate, because you are there in every article. So next one. Tata paramahamsanam muninam amalatmanam bhakti yoga vidhanartam katam pashyemahi striyaha. Please, Mata.
You yourself descend to propagate the transcendental science of devotional service unto the hearts of the advanced transcendentalists and mental speculators, who are purified by being able to discriminate between matter and spirit. How, then, can we women know you perfectly?
Thank you, Mataji. In this purport, Prabhupada glorifies women. Let's read this purport as well, Mataji. Maybe from here, Mataji, if you can read out.
Okay, yes, ma'am. Even the greatest philosophical
Sorry, Mataji.
speculators cannot.
Only the highlighted portion. Can you see?
Okay.
we can't.
Yeah,
Can we see the screen? Okay, yeah.
women in
Women,
general.
women
Okay.
in general, or
Yes, Maharaj. Yes, sorry, Prabhuji. I'm just reading from my book, so I just
yeah,
found where it is. Women in general are unable to speculate like philosophers, but they are blessed by the Lord because they believe at once in the superiority and almightiness of the Lord, and thus they offer obeisances without reservation. The Lord is so kind that he does not show special favor only to one who is a great philosopher. He knows the sincerity of purpose. For this reason only, women generally assemble in great number in any sort of religious function. In every country and in every sect of religion, it appears that women are more interested than the men. This simplicity of acceptance of the Lord's authority is more effective than showy, insincere religious favor.
yeah. We offer our respectable obeisances to all the Matajis present on this call. And we can see there appear to be more women than men as well on this Zoom call as well. So wonderful.
Prabhu,
Yes.
Prabhuji, is it not is it not a normal woman trait to be more humble because or to be more giving, because it's the nature of a woman to take care of her children, so she is in a position of giving care to people who are in her care, as also she takes care of her husband, and she knows how to be subservient to her husband. So the there is natural humility, respecting elders, respecting husband, and well your position, even if it is that people think, well, a woman's position is second, but really in just doing so she has raised her status to become more eligible for devotional service.
Excellent. Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very, very much. And we have in our scriptures, there were number of examples how women devote. There were number of women devotees. Our Kunti Maharani is there, Draupadi is there. From Ramayana, we have Shabari. And if you see that the list is unending. So currently we are in the body, like sometimes male, sometimes in the female, but the main thing is surrenderance. Okay, so I wanted to finish next two verses as well. And we will give little time for question and answer, because that's where I want to talk today. So famous verses, everybody loves these two verses.
yes.
Text 21. Krishnaya Vasudevaya Devaki Nandanaya Cha Nanda Gopa Kumaraya Govindaya Namo Namaha.
Let me therefore offer my respectful obeisances unto the Lord, who has become the son of Vasudeva, the pleasure of Devaki, the boy of Nanda, and the other cowherd men of Vrindavan, and the enlivener of the cows and the senses.
Thank you, Mataji. So Krishna is very much pleased when he is connected to his devotees. Yeah. And I always say Prabhupada's quote, if you love me, love my dog. Prabhupada always says there is an English phrase. Every English house, they have a dog. So if we love Krishna, we should love his devotees. So when Krishna is connected to his devotees, Krishna becomes extremely pleased. So here you can see that is addressed as Vasudevaya, son of Vasudev. Devaki Nandanayacha, son of Devaki, and a pleasure giver to Devaki. And then Nanda Gopa Kumaraya is connected to Nanda Maharaj, and all the coward men. Is the boy of Nanda and coward man. Gopa Kumaraya. Govindaya. Govindaya means giver of the pleasure to the senses and as well as the cows. And Prabhupada mentions actually give pleasures to, yes, cows and senses. So cows are again his devotees. So Krishna becomes extremely pleased when we connect like this. And one interesting that I just wanted to mention, this is Sanskrit. You see, Krishnaya, Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya, Kumaraya. This is the Sanskrit, and ya means that on to. So when we say Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, means onto Vasudeva I'm offering obeisances. Ramaya Namaha. So that means I'm offering my obeisances to Rama. So this is the Sanskrit. This is called Chaturthi Vibhakti, fourth case. And Prabhupada writes beautiful points in this purport as well, that so how he is connected. You can go and read the purport, but we will next move on to the next verse, please. Purport, Mataji, yeah, we'll read it later, Mataji, and we are moving to the text 22. Nama Pankajanabhaya, Nama Pankajamaline, Nama Pankajanetraya, Namaste Pankajangraye.
My respectful obeisances are unto you, O Lord, whose abdomen is marked with a depression like a lotus flower, who are always decorated with garlands of lotus flowers, whose glance is as cool as the lotus, and whose feet are engraved with lotuses.
Thank you, Mataji. One interesting point I just wanted to mention from the previous purport, I've highlighted here. I've noted down, I wanted to bring it to your attention. As I mentioned, Krishna was addressed as Govinda as well. So Lord Krishna as Govinda is more inclined to the Brahmanas and cows, indicating thereby that human prosperity depends more on these two items. Very interesting point. Human prosperity depends more on these two items, namely Brahmanical culture and cow protection. Lord is never satisfied where these are lacking. Wonderful point. Cows should be protected, and Brahmanical culture should be respected. So that way, because they are very dear to Krishna. Here, again, Krishna, Kunti Maharani, he offers obeisances, saying that the Pankajanabhaya, so his abdomen is marked with the depression of lotus, and then Pankajamaline, he wears garland of lotus flowers, and Pankajanetraya, his eyes are like lotus, and his glance is like cool as lotus. Pankajangraye, and his feet are engraved with lotuses. So a very interesting point Prabhupada mentions here. I just wanted to bring it up. Usually the devotees, they start from the feet and then they go up when they're offering respects to the Lord. Starts with the feet and then go up. But here, Kunti Maharani starts with the navel, Nama Pankajanabhaya, and then she goes to the eyes, and she comes down to the feet. And Prabhupada mentions here that Srimati Kunti Maharani is Krishna's aunt, and on the level of practically his mother. And Krishna will be embarrassed if Kunti Maharani starts with feet, because Kunti Maharani practically on the level of his mother. So, and she didn't want to embarrass Lord. That's why she started with the navel, and then she goes to the eyes, and then she comes down to the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. So it's 8 o'clock. I will give 5 minutes if anybody has any questions or comments. So basically, I can sum up. If you can think for your comments or questions, I'll sum up in the meantime. This chapter begins by saying that all the Pandavas, along with Krishna, they went to the Ganges to offer water to the dead relatives. And after offering the Ganges water, they took bath. And this water of Ganges is very much purifying because it is mixed with the dust of the lotus feet of Lord Krishna. And they lamented, and Krishna and the other sages pacified Pandavas, and Krishna caused Yudhishthir Maharaj to perform the sacrifices. And then he was ready to depart because the war is ended. He's ready to depart to Dwaraka. And when he was about to depart to Dwaraka, Uttara came in rushing and asking that there is a fiery weapon coming towards her, and took shelter of Krishna. And Krishna saved the embryo of Uttara, and that way protected Maharaj Parikshit. And seeing that, these situations, having observed that, that they were saved from number of calamities, one after another, Kunti Maharani started to offer prayers to the Lord. So any questions or comments? I will give a few minutes. Madhav Kumar Prabhu and myself, we discussed that we should give at least some time, at least 5 minutes, even if we go a little over. It would be beneficial if anybody wants to ask anything or clarify.
I was just going
Haribol? Sorry.
go. No, go on, Madhavi.
In the previous chapter, we saw towards the end how Arjuna is cutting the hair from Ashwatthama's head and depriving him of his, wealth and driving him out. Yeah. So now over here we are seeing that Uttara is coming, running because of the Brahmastra. So, I mean, he's already punished for that, right? So I'm a little confused.
Yes, this is another time he's releasing Brahmastra.
Okay.
This is the second time he released Brahmastra.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
So that is a separate episode. That
is for Arjun. Yeah,
Arjun,
my memory is
and
so,
to save himself from the danger.
Right.
From Arjun and
correct.
Krishna.
Of course. Yeah. Sorry, I forgot about that. Yeah. Lapse of memory. Sorry.
No, it's good. It's good to ask, and so that we can be clarified. Anything else anybody want to comment or question?
Just a quick one, Prabhuji.
Sure.
On the topic of women in Shastras, it's been given a lot of importance, and this one's not in stock. I'm just sharing for devotees' knowledge. There's a proper book written called the Vaishnavi, which talks about all the women devotees of the Lord. So wonderful. Even in Gaudiya Vaishnavism, there's a lot of emphasis and praise and respect for the women devotees that have been written about in history, in scriptures, as well as in the movement.
Could I have a copy, Prabhu?
I don't know where I got it from. I'll look it up for you.
Okay, if you have any copies, I'm happy to take one for myself.
Sure.
Actually, even I would like one copy of that, because I think that while we were studying the Bhakti Shastri course, for example, we had some questions on how women are to be, like certain words were used, and how people get confused when you're talking to someone and they pick up on these things and they throw it at your face saying, well, how can how can you talk about women in Shastra like that? Or how could Prabhupada be saying like this? And it'll be a good read, because it'll make us more equipped to actually argue back that actually it's not a matter of women being, actually women are really in a better position. And talking about, male and female, if I understand correctly, we are all females. So even the men in this world are really only thinking they are male and have got the ego trip of the man, but really it's not like that. So they are a little bit cursed, because they are in a
we're all
delude.
we're all
Prakriti.
material nature, isn't it? It's just you read my mind.
Krishna is the only Purusha.
Yeah.
Correct. So they're a little bit like they think they are man, but they are not. So being a woman is like to be blessed, knowing you're the woman, and you want Krishna as your husband.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Mataji, for that. So we will try and recite each and every prayer. They are very dear to me. So we try and read every day also at home. So that's why we would like to recite all the prayers, and we will try and finish hopefully next week. And if not, then we will move on. But they are very dear to Prabhupada. I wanted to spend a little more time on these prayers because they are very, very dear to Prabhupada.
Just one last bit from me, Prue.
Sure.
I know a few devotees already left, but just on the topic of book distribution, very quickly, just want to reiterate marathons on, and the books are available. The focus is Bhagavad Gita, and I just want to commend and glorify a little bit the effort of Sumit Prabhu. He's already committed to doing 10 Bhagavad Gitas this week, so I'll be handing over to him later this week. So yeah, if anybody is keen, it can work as a good festival gift. Please let us know. Like I said, UK goal is to get 50,000, but we can be like a drop in the ocean and do our little bit. Thank you very much.
Hare Krishna. Sure, Prabhu. I'll take my pack sooner rather than later.
Hari Bol.
Can I also just sponsor it rather than take them?
Yeah, no problem. We can work that out. Hari Bol. Thank you.
Hari Bol.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, everyone. See you next week. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyo chapatitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai.
Grandra Bhagavatam ki jai.
Jai.
Gaura Premanandi. Hari Hari.
Hari
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 Bol.
Bol.
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.